Ladies and gentlemen, let us delve into a matter that calls for clarity and wisdom. The relationships we build, particularly those with significant influence over our lives, require discernment rooted in principles and understanding. When we talk about the kind of people we welcome into our inner circle, we must not only consider their virtues, but also recognize behaviors that may lead us astray. A woman who embodies destructive tendencies does not announce herself with a signboard. Instead, her character is revealed in patterns, in attitudes, and in her impact on those around her. She may appear charming, even magnetic, but charm without integrity is a trap. It is vital to examine what lies beneath the surface. Watch closely how she speaks, not only to you, but about others. If her words are laced with malice, gossip, and criticism, you must pause. A person who sows discord through words will eventually direct that same energy towards you. The mouth reflects the heart, and a heart filled with bitterness or deceit cannot bring forth good fruit. Pay attention to how she handles authority and responsibility. A woman who consistently disrespects order, undermines leadership, or shirks accountability reveals a spirit of rebellion. Such a spirit is dangerous because it does not submit to principles, and it invites chaos into every relationship it touches. Be mindful of her relationships with others, family, friends, and colleagues. If her life is a trail of broken relationships and unresolved conflicts, it speaks of a deeper issue. While no one is without flaws, a pattern of strife and alienation signals an unwillingness to reconcile, to grow, and to build lasting connections. Observe how she handles resources, be it money, time, or opportunities. A woman driven by materialism and greed, who prioritizes possessions over principles, will lead you into a life of emptiness. True wealth is found in character, wisdom, and purpose, not in possessions that fade. Lastly, look at her influence. Does her presence bring out the best in others, or does it diminish them? A woman who manipulates, controls, or diminishes others to elevate herself is not a partner, she is a destroyer. True strength builds, empowers, and uplifts, never tears down. This is not about condemnation, but about clarity. Every person has the potential for growth, but you cannot build a life with someone unwilling to address their flaws or embrace accountability. Be cautious, be discerning, and above all, align yourself with those who uplift, inspire, and reflect the values you hold dear. Relationships are powerful. They either propel you toward your destiny or pull you away from it. Choose wisely. It is important to acknowledge that relationships are at the core of life's success and challenges. The people we allow into our lives, especially those who hold influence over our thoughts, emotions, and decisions, play a significant role in determining the direction we take. For this reason, it is not only advisable but necessary to exercise discernment in choosing who we journey with, particularly when it comes to a life partner or someone with deep access to your heart. There are characteristics, attitudes, and behaviors that can serve as warning signs, and though subtle at first, they often grow into destructive patterns. These patterns can undermine your peace, purpose, and progress. Wisdom demands that you open your eyes, not just your heart, as you evaluate the individuals around you. Love should never blind you to truth. To ignore the signs is to invite unnecessary hardship into your life. And the consequences of such choices often ripple far beyond yourself, affecting your purpose, your family, and even your legacy. Let's begin with the principle of integrity. A woman whose words and actions do not align cannot be trusted. If she says one thing and consistently does another, this inconsistency will eventually manifest in betrayal or disappointment. Integrity is the foundation of trust, and trust is the bedrock of any relationship. Without it, no matter how exciting or appealing the connection may seem, it is destined to crumble. Watch how she keeps her promises, no matter how small. If she is careless with her commitments, this reflects her lack of respect not just for others, but for herself. Another warning sign is the inability to handle correction. A person unwilling to accept guidance or constructive criticism is someone unwilling to grow. Growth requires humility and a teachable spirit. If you observe that she dismisses advice, becomes defensive, or shifts blame when confronted, you are dealing with pride in disguise. Pride will resist accountability, and without accountability, there can be no genuine partnership. A wise person surrounds themselves with those who challenge them to be better, not with those who resist every opportunity for improvement. Now consider how she handles her emotions. Emotional maturity is a key ingredient in any healthy relationship. Pay attention to how she reacts when things do not go her way. Does she resort to manipulation, silent treatment, or excessive drama? If her emotional responses are disproportionate to the situation, or if she uses emotions as a weapon to control outcomes, this is a red flag. Such behavior is draining, destabilizing, and ultimately destructive. Life will always present challenges. You need a partner who can navigate those moments with grace and composure, not someone who exacerbates the storm. A spirit of comparison is another subtle but dangerous trait. If she constantly measures herself against others, envies their success, or demeans their achievements, it reveals insecurity and a lack of contentment. A person who is not content within themselves will struggle to celebrate you or support your growth. Instead, they will view your success as a threat or a competition. Healthy relationships are built on mutual support and shared victories, not on jealousy or rivalry. Observe how she treats people who can do nothing for her. This will reveal her true character. Kindness and respect towards others, especially those in positions of service or disadvantage, are marks of a compassionate and noble heart. If she is dismissive, rude, or condescending to others while presenting a different persona to those she seeks to impress, this duplicity should not be ignored. Remember, how someone treats others is often how they will eventually treat you. The way she views purpose and responsibility also speaks volumes. A woman who lacks vision and direction for her own life is unlikely to contribute meaningfully to yours. Purpose-driven individuals inspire and uplift those around them. If her focus is primarily on fleeting pleasures, material pursuits, or shallow achievements, you must consider what kind of future you are building together. Two cannot walk together unless they are in agreement, and agreement must extend to shared values, goals, and principles. Financial irresponsibility is another significant indicator. A person who is careless with money often demonstrates a lack of discipline in other areas as well. If she is driven by materialism, spends impulsively, or prioritizes appearances over substance, you may find yourself in a constant struggle to maintain stability. Financial stewardship is not just about money, it reflects an attitude of accountability and foresight. A woman who cannot manage what she has will not contribute positively to building a future of abundance and security. Be wary of a critical spirit. If her conversations are filled with negativity, judgment, or constant fault-finding, it reveals an underlying discontentment. Such a mindset can drain the joy and positivity from any relationship. Constructive feedback is one thing, but persistent criticism creates an atmosphere of tension and dissatisfaction. A critical spirit not only affects the person it targets, but also erodes the self-esteem and peace of those around her. Control and manipulation are toxic traits that can manifest subtly but grow insidiously. A woman who seeks to dominate decisions, undermine your autonomy, or guilt you into compliance is not interested in partnership. She seeks control. Relationships thrive on mutual respect and collaboration, not coercion. Manipulation often masquerades as concern or care, but its fruits are always evident in the form of resentment, loss of freedom, and imbalance. Another warning sign is a lack of genuine joy and gratitude. A woman who cannot find contentment in the simple blessings of life will always be chasing an illusion of happiness. Gratitude is a cornerstone of fulfillment, and without it, nothing will ever be enough. If she constantly complains, focuses on what she lacks rather than what she has, or struggles to appreciate the efforts of others, this negativity will eventually weigh down the relationship. You must also consider her spiritual foundation. A woman who lacks a grounding in faith, values, or principles is like a ship without an anchor. When storms come, as they inevitably will, there must be a source of strength greater than either of you. If she dismisses spiritual matters or views them as irrelevant, you will struggle to build a relationship rooted in purpose and eternal significance. It is equally important to observe her ability to maintain and nurture relationships with others. A person who isolates themselves, burns bridges, or fails to invest in meaningful connections is unlikely to thrive in a partnership. Healthy relationships which require effort, empathy, and mutual care. If her life is marked by a trail of unresolved conflicts, broken friendships, or estranged family ties, this pattern will likely continue. Finally, consider her influence. Does she inspire those around her to grow, to aspire, and to improve? Or does she bring out the worst in people, creating division and discouragement? A woman who uplifts others is a treasure, but one who sows discord or fosters negativity is a burden. Influence is powerful, and the energy she brings into your life will shape your path, for better or worse. These signs are not about judgment, but about wisdom. People are not perfect, and everyone has areas where they need growth. However, a willingness to recognize and address these areas is essential. The difference between a healthy relationship and a toxic one often lies in whether both individuals are committed to growth, accountability, and shared values. If you find yourself noticing these warning signs, take a step back. Reflect, pray, and seek counsel. Remember that the decisions you make today will shape your future. A relationship built on shaky foundations will not withstand the test of time and trials. True partnership is a gift, a union of two individuals committed to building a life of purpose, joy, and legacy. Anything less is not worth compromising your destiny. Choose wisely. Stay vigilant. Your life and your purpose are far too valuable to entrust to someone who does not honor or align with them. A relationship, especially one with the potential to shape your future, requires more than fleeting emotions or surface-level attraction. It demands careful observation, introspection, and discernment. The people you invite into your life have the power to influence your thoughts, attitudes, and decisions either for good or for harm. This is why every step toward building a meaningful connection must be taken with intentionality, ensuring that you are not blinded by temporary feelings at the expense of lasting peace and purpose. Discernment begins with paying attention to the patterns in a person's behavior, not just the moments of charm or generosity. One critical trait to evaluate is honesty. A woman who frequently bends the truth, exaggerates, or hides information is showing you a pattern that will not disappear with time. Trust is built on a foundation of transparency. When that foundation is shaky, even the most promising relationship will collapse under the weight of suspicion and doubt. When someone avoids accountability for their words or actions, it is not a small oversight, it is a sign of deeper issues with integrity. Equally important is the ability to communicate in a healthy and constructive way. Pay attention to how she addresses conflict. Does she confront issues directly with respect and openness? Or does she avoid uncomfortable conversations, resort to passive-aggressive behavior, or lash out in anger? Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but how it is handled reveals the emotional maturity of the individuals involved. A woman who cannot approach disagreements with patience and understanding is likely to create an environment of tension and frustration. Another area that requires close examination is how she approaches the future. A life without vision is a life without direction. If she lacks goals, aspirations, or a sense of purpose, this not only affects her own growth, but also limits what you can achieve together. On the other hand, if her ambitions are solely self-centered with no regard for collaboration or mutual benefit, this imbalance will strain your partnership. A shared sense of purpose creates unity, but a disparity in vision often leads to disconnection. The importance of self-awareness cannot be overstated. A woman who does not know herself, her strengths, weaknesses, and areas for growth cannot fully engage in a relationship. Without self-awareness, she may project her insecurities onto others, creating unnecessary drama and misunderstandings. This lack of understanding often manifests as a refusal to take responsibility for mistakes, an inability to apologize sincerely, or a tendency to shift blame onto others. A relationship with someone who lacks this self-reflection can feel like navigating a maze with no clear exit. Observe her priorities and what she values most. If her focus is predominantly on external appearances, status, or material possessions, you must question what drives her decisions and motivations. A life centered around superficial goals is unlikely to weather the storms of life. Real substance lies in character, wisdom, and the ability to find joy in what truly matters. A woman whose identity is tied to fleeting measures of success will struggle to provide the depth and stability needed for a lasting relationship. Consider her level of emotional intelligence. This is not just about how she feels, but how she processes and responds to emotions, her own and those of others. A woman who cannot empathize with others or who reacts impulsively without considering the consequences of her actions may inadvertently create emotional chaos. Emotional intelligence allows for understanding, patience, and the ability to navigate life's complexities with resilience. Without it, small issues become large conflicts, and simple misunderstandings become deeply rooted divides. Another vital aspect to evaluate is her relationship with others. Look closely at her friendships, family connections, and professional interactions. A pattern of broken relationships, unresolved conflicts, or frequent fallouts is a warning sign. While no one is exempt from challenges in their connections, a consistent inability to maintain healthy relationships suggests underlying issues with communication, trust, or respect. Furthermore, pay attention to whether she isolates herself from others or discourages you from maintaining your relationships. Isolation is often a tool used by controlling individuals to gain influence and diminish your support system. Financial habits are a reflection of deeper principles. A woman who is careless with money, overspends without consideration, or lacks financial discipline is showing you how she manages responsibility. While financial stability is not the ultimate measure of a person's worth, the ability to handle resources wisely is an indicator of foresight and self-control. On the other hand, if her focus is entirely on accumulating wealth at the expense of integrity, relationships, or health, this imbalance will eventually take its toll. Pay attention to her emotional consistency. A person whose moods swing unpredictably, who cannot regulate their feelings, or who allows small inconveniences to ruin entire days may struggle to provide the emotional stability that a strong relationship requires. Life brings enough challenges without the added burden of navigating unnecessary emotional turbulence. A stable, grounded partner brings peace, not chaos. Spiritual alignment is another crucial factor. A woman who disregards spiritual principles or shows a lack of interest in values beyond the material world may struggle to find purpose in the deeper aspects of life. A shared spiritual foundation not only strengthens the bond between two people, but also provides a source of guidance and stability when circumstances become uncertain. When spiritual principles are absent, a relationship risks becoming aimless and vulnerable to external pressures. Humility is a trait that cannot be overlooked. A woman who views herself as superior to others, who constantly seeks validation, or who struggles to admit her faults, is allowing pride to dominate her character. Pride creates walls where bridges are needed. A humble person, on the other hand, approaches relationships with a willingness to grow, to learn, and to adapt. Without humility, there can be no true partnership, only competition and division. It is also important to recognize patterns of control and dominance. A controlling person may disguise their behavior as care or concern, but over time, their actions reveal a deeper desire to manipulate and dominate. Control often comes at the expense of your autonomy, your decisions, and even your sense of self. A healthy relationship is built on mutual respect and freedom, not on one person imposing their will upon the other. Consider her ability to forgive. A woman who holds on to grudges, constantly revisits past wrongs, or refuses to move forward from mistakes is creating an environment of stagnation. Forgiveness is not about ignoring the past, but about releasing its grip on the present. Without forgiveness, bitterness takes root, and relationships become weighed down by unresolved tensions. Pay attention to the energy she brings into your life. Does she inspire you to grow, to dream, and to become a better version of yourself? Or does she drain your enthusiasm, diminish your confidence, and stifle your potential? The people we surround ourselves with shape our lives in profound ways. Choose someone who uplifts and encourages, not someone who hinders and discourages. In relationships, the stakes are high because the rewards are significant. Building a partnership with the wrong person can derail your purpose, but aligning yourself with someone who complements and strengthens your values can propel you toward a fulfilling life. Observing these signs is not about being judgmental, it is about being wise. Wisdom is the key to ensuring that the relationships you cultivate are a source of strength, not struggle. Relationships hold the power to define much of who we are and what we accomplish. The people closest to us can either nurture our potential or hinder our progress. In recognizing this truth, we must take deliberate steps to protect our hearts and minds by carefully discerning who we allow into our most sacred spaces. This applies even more so in romantic relationships, where the bonds formed have the potential to shape not only your present, but also your future. A woman whose life consistently reflects chaos, instability, or harmful patterns should not be overlooked simply because of fleeting charm or physical attraction. Such things may captivate in the moment, but they cannot sustain a meaningful or productive relationship. One area that requires careful observation is how she navigates authority and responsibility. A woman who disrespects structure, challenges rightful authority, or refuses to be accountable for her choices is a person who operates outside of the principles necessary for healthy growth. Order is foundational to progress, and a refusal to respect it is a precursor to ongoing conflict. A deeper level of discernment involves understanding how she views truth. If she is comfortable bending facts to suit her narrative or uses deception as a means of gaining favor, it reflects a lack of integrity that will inevitably surface in the relationship. Trust cannot coexist with dishonesty, and without trust, even the strongest emotional connection will disintegrate over time. Be attentive to whether she is truthful not only in her words but also in her actions. Consistency between what she says and what she does is a hallmark of reliability and character. Emotional balance is another critical indicator. Relationships will always encounter moments of tension and stress, but the ability to navigate these with grace and stability is what separates those who grow stronger together from those who fall apart. If a woman's emotions are unpredictable, or if she regularly uses them as a weapon, whether through manipulation, excessive drama, or withdrawing affection, it creates an environment of insecurity and exhaustion. Emotional intelligence is not optional, it is foundational to enduring love and respect. Consider how she handles her past. A woman who consistently blames others for her misfortunes or refuses to confront and grow from her previous mistakes is someone who has not yet embraced accountability. Everyone has a past, but the difference lies in how it is processed. If she is willing to learn, take ownership, and move forward, she demonstrates maturity. If not, unresolved issues from her past may eventually become roadblocks in your shared future. The value she places on character over appearance is another significant clue. If her focus is disproportionately on outward beauty, social status, or material wealth, you must ask yourself what truly drives her. While there is nothing wrong with appreciating the finer things in life, when these priorities take precedence over honesty, kindness, and wisdom, the relationship becomes shallow and transactional. Substance will always outweigh style when it comes to building a meaningful partnership. Pay close attention to her communication style. Healthy communication is not just about expressing thoughts, but also about how those thoughts are conveyed. A woman who communicates with clarity, respect, and openness builds bridges. One who resorts to sarcasm, passive aggressiveness, or harshness destroys them. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. If she cannot engage in constructive dialogue, conflict resolution becomes an uphill battle. Observe her relationships with others, particularly those who have been in her life for a long time. Patterns of estranged friendships, frequent falling outs, or a lack of deep, meaningful connections can signal difficulty in maintaining stability and loyalty. Additionally, how she interacts with those who cannot offer her anything in return, whether it's service staff, strangers, or people she considers beneath her, speaks volumes about her true character. Compassion and respect should not be selective but consistent. Look closely at her habits when it comes to finances and stewardship. How she manages her money is often a reflection of how she manages other areas of her life. A woman who is reckless, spends impulsively, or prioritizes fleeting pleasures over long-term stability shows a lack of discipline that may translate into other aspects of the relationship. On the other hand, someone who hoards resources out of fear or greed demonstrates an inability to trust and a lack of generosity. Balance in this area is key as it reveals her priorities and capacity for shared responsibility. An unwillingness to forgive is a red flag that cannot be ignored. Everyone makes mistakes, and forgiveness is essential for growth and healing. A woman who holds on to grudges, replays past offenses, or continually brings up old arguments creates an environment of bitterness and stagnation. Forgiveness is not about excusing harmful behavior, but about releasing its power over the present. Without it, a relationship cannot thrive. Consider her response to other people's success. A woman who celebrates the achievements of others reflects confidence and generosity of spirit. Conversely, if she becomes envious, dismissive, or critical when someone else succeeds, it indicates insecurity and a lack of contentment. A relationship should be a partnership where each person uplifts the other, not a competition marked by jealousy and resentment. One of the most telling aspects of a person's character is how they behave when no one is watching. A woman whose private actions contradict her public persona is someone living a double life, and this duplicity will eventually surface in a relationship. Authenticity is a cornerstone of trust, and without it, there can be no genuine connection. Look for consistency in how she treats people, how she speaks, and how she lives out her values, regardless of who is paying attention. Another area to examine is how she handles differences. No two people are the same, and disagreements are inevitable. What matters is her willingness to find common ground and her respect for differing perspectives. A woman who insists on always being right, who belittles opposing views, or who refuses to compromise creates an atmosphere of division rather than unity. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect, not one-sided dominance. Spiritual alignment is essential for those seeking a relationship rooted in purpose and meaning. A woman who dismisses spiritual matters or who lacks a grounding in principles larger than herself may struggle to navigate life's deeper challenges. Shared values provide a compass that keeps both individuals aligned, even when circumstances become difficult. If she has no interest in exploring these dimensions of life, you may find yourselves walking two separate paths. Pay attention to her influence. A good partner inspires you to grow, encourages your dreams, and challenges you to become the best version of yourself. Conversely, a woman whose presence diminishes your confidence, drains your energy, or distracts you from your purpose is not a partner but a hindrance. Relationships should multiply joy and strength, not diminish them. Generosity is another indicator of character. A woman who gives freely of her time, energy, and resources without expecting anything in return demonstrates a heart that values people over possessions. On the other hand, someone who withholds affection, attention, or support as a means of control reveals a self-serving nature that will undermine the relationship over time. Love is about giving, not withholding. Lastly, be aware of how she views life's challenges. A woman who embraces difficulties as opportunities to learn and grow brings resilience and optimism into the relationship. In contrast, someone who complains incessantly, avoids responsibility, or becomes consumed by negativity will make every challenge feel insurmountable. Life is full of obstacles, and having a partner who can navigate them with strength and grace is invaluable. The signs are always present if you are willing to look closely. Relationships are not meant to be rushed, and the process of discernment is an act of wisdom and self-respect. Who you choose to walk with can either propel you toward your destiny or derail you from it. Let your choices reflect the value you place on your own purpose and the life you are building. Stay vigilant, choose wisely, and protect the gift of your future. Every relationship you enter into holds the potential to shape the trajectory of your life. While no one is perfect, the alignment of character, values, and intentions is paramount in determining whether a connection is one of growth or one that leads to stagnation and harm. Discernment is not about being overly critical, but about being wise enough to recognize the difference between what is fleeting and what is enduring. One key area to observe is how a woman handles power. Power, whether in the form of influence, resources, or relationships, reveals the core of an individual's character. A woman who seeks to control or dominate others rather than using her influence to uplift and empower demonstrates a dangerous imbalance. This type of behavior often manifests subtly at first through manipulative tendencies, coercive language, or attempts to isolate you from your support network. Over time, such control can erode your sense of self and leave you vulnerable to unhealthy patterns of dependence. Similarly, how she views herself in relation to others is a clear indicator of her mindset. A woman who is overly critical of others, quick to judge, or prone to gossip is reflecting an internal insecurity. Such behaviors often stem from a need to elevate herself at the expense of others. While these actions may seem insignificant initially, they can breed distrust and create a toxic dynamic in the long run. A secure individual does not feel the need to diminish others. Instead, she seeks to build meaningful connections grounded in mutual respect. Consider her relationship with time and priorities. A woman who is constantly in a rush, unable to focus, or perpetually disorganized reveals a lack of discipline that may spill into other aspects of the relationship. On the other hand, a woman who values punctuality, respects commitments, and allocates her time wisely shows a maturity that creates stability. Chaos in one area often leads to chaos in others, and being mindful of these patterns can prevent unnecessary stress and frustration. Another critical dimension to evaluate is her capacity for gratitude. Gratitude is a mark of contentment and humility, while entitlement often signals a deeper issue with selfishness. A woman who cannot appreciate the efforts of others, or who constantly demands more without acknowledging what she has, reveals a sense of dissatisfaction that may never be fulfilled. Gratitude fosters a spirit of generosity and reciprocity, which is essential for any lasting partnership. Emotional resilience is equally significant. Life is filled with challenges, and the ability to face adversity with strength and grace is a trait that cannot be underestimated. A woman who crumbles at the first sign of difficulty, or who becomes overly dependent on you to resolve her problems, is not operating from a place of empowerment. Conversely, a woman who demonstrates perseverance, adaptability, and an ability to find solutions is someone who will contribute to a resilient and enduring relationship. Pay close attention to how she navigates differences in opinion or belief. A relationship cannot thrive in an atmosphere of constant argument, or where one person feels the need to silence the other. A woman who respects differing perspectives and engages in constructive dialogue fosters an environment of mutual understanding and growth. On the contrary, a woman who dismisses, belittles, or seeks to overpower your viewpoints is not seeking partnership but domination. Her approach to self-care and personal growth also speaks volumes. A woman who takes care of her physical, emotional, and mental well-being demonstrates self-respect and discipline. Neglect in these areas often signals a deeper neglect of responsibility and awareness. Additionally, a willingness to learn, grow, and improve reflects an openness to change and adaptability, which are crucial for navigating the evolving dynamics of a relationship. The way she interacts with those who are less fortunate, or who cannot offer her anything in return, is another revealing trait. Compassion and empathy are cornerstones of good character. A woman who treats everyone with dignity and kindness, regardless of their status, shows a generosity of spirit that elevates those around her. In contrast, someone who is dismissive, rude, or indifferent to others is likely to carry that same attitude into her relationship with you. Be mindful of her ability to set boundaries and respect yours. A healthy relationship thrives on mutual respect, which includes understanding and honoring personal limits. A woman who invades your privacy, dismisses your concerns, or disregards your need for space is likely to struggle with maintaining balance. Respect for boundaries is a reflection of emotional maturity and the ability to prioritize the well-being of both individuals in a partnership. Financial habits often reflect a person's approach to responsibility and long-term planning. A woman who is overly extravagant, impulsive, or secretive about money may lack the discipline necessary for shared goals. On the other hand, extreme frugality or hoarding can also indicate an unhealthy relationship with resources. Balance is key. Look for someone who is transparent, responsible, and capable of making sound decisions that reflect both present needs and future aspirations. Observe her ability to apologize and take accountability. Everyone makes mistakes, but how she responds to them is critical. A woman who refuses to admit wrongdoing, shifts blame, or dismisses your concerns creates an environment where unresolved issues fester. Sincere apologies and a willingness to make amends demonstrate humility and a commitment to growth. Without accountability, trust erodes, and the foundation of the relationship weakens. Her level of independence is another significant factor. While interdependence is vital in a relationship, an excessive reliance on you for emotional, financial, or social stability can create an unbalanced dynamic. A woman who is capable of standing on her own, while also valuing collaboration and partnership, contributes to a relationship that is both secure and empowering. Pay attention to her response to boundaries set by others. Does she respect them, or does she try to push beyond them to get her way? A disregard for limits, whether with you or others, signals a lack of respect for autonomy and consent. Healthy relationships are built on mutual agreement, not coercion or manipulation. Additionally, watch how she celebrates or reacts to the success of others. A woman who is genuinely happy for others and encourages their growth demonstrates confidence and security in her own identity. Conversely, envy or resentment towards someone else's achievements can indicate deep-seated insecurity that may lead to unnecessary conflict. The way she speaks about her past relationships is also telling. A woman who constantly paints herself as the victim blaming all her past partners, may lack the self-awareness necessary to grow and improve. While it's natural to have experienced difficult relationships, the ability to reflect on lessons learned and take accountability for her role in past dynamics reveals maturity and emotional growth. Consider how her presence makes you feel. Does she bring peace, encouragement, and inspiration, or does she leave you feeling drained, anxious, and uncertain? The energy a person brings into your life is one of the most significant indicators of their impact on your well-being. Relationships should enhance your sense of purpose and confidence, not diminish them. In navigating these observations, remember that the goal is not to seek perfection, but alignment. No one is without flaws, but patterns of behavior reveal what lies beneath the surface. Wisdom lies in identifying these patterns early and making choices that honor your values, protect your peace, and support your purpose. By staying vigilant and discerning, you create space for relationships that empower, uplift, and inspire you to reach your highest potential. In life, the relationships we build either propel us toward our purpose or pull us away from it. The choices we make in who we allow into our inner circle are some of the most significant decisions we will ever face. A relationship is not just about companionship or comfort. It's about alignment with your values, your vision, and the principles that guide your life. Be vigilant, be wise, and never compromise your peace or purpose for the sake of fleeting emotions or surface-level attraction. Remember, the character of the person you choose to stand beside will shape your future as much as your own. It is far better to wait for someone who uplifts, strengthens, and inspires you than to settle for someone who diminishes your worth or derails your destiny. Value yourself enough to choose wisely. Guard your heart, protect your purpose, and align yourself with someone who will walk with you in integrity, peace, and purpose. You deserve not just a partner, but a person who amplifies your light and adds to the legacy you are building. Always remember, the most meaningful relationships are not built on convenience, they are built on character.